Welcome to March. The astrology is reminding me of the scene from the Stampede from Lion King. And it kind of feels like a lot of chaos and mayhem. Like you need to either do some kind of damage control, or you need to fix something or find a quick solution. But it's quite the opposite. We have good news and cleverness coming through. One of the biggest messages here is around trickster energies, trickster spirits, self-deceit. How are you being challenged right now to uphold your values, uphold your beliefs, keep staying in alignment with your true path despite chaos that is completely outside of your control? There's a lot of energy of control, Leo energy, as well as that Aries energy wanting to fight coming through. And specifically because there's going to be 4 planets in Aries this month. By the end of the month, we're going to have Mercury, Venus. Venus is already there. Mercury's just moved in there. Both are going to be in retrograde. The sun's going to be in Venus. Neptune goes into Venus at the end of the month. And then, in Aries, all 4 in Aries. And then we've got 2 eclipses this month. So eclipse season starts this month as well. And it's clashing with Pluto and Aquarius. And Leo is Aquarius' sister sign. So if we're having a hard time accessing the change that Pluto wants us to move into, that's when Leo lashes out. So basically, if you find yourself fighting like a Leo or being fought by Leo-esque energy, most likely you are battling with that line between your north and south node. There's like a lot of access points that I've been channeling coming through for the collective this month, particularly right around the 2 eclipses. First, the lunar eclipse, and then second, the solar eclipse. So there's like all of this energy that's going to be building up and then backing down and then building up and then backing down like a roller coaster. And it feels like there's going to be this final drop off point towards the end of the month. But specifically when we get out of Venus retrograde in April. So you can think of these ebbs and flows as preparation for inevitable change that's happening externally, things you can't change. And when I talk about this, my eyes get foggy, the third eye gets blurry, my stomach feels like things are turning. So, in Chinese medicine and in energy science, like all of these things are signifying that you're clearing cords with other people, you are, setting better energetic boundaries or going through lots of cellular healing in the body that is clearing energy that isn't true for you or isn't aligned with your higher self, perspectives, right? Ways that you look at the world, ways in which you express yourself that aren't true for you, but you've been doing it for a very long time. So things that are conditioned into you, things that are in your DNA, ancestral healing, stuff like that is really, really heavy right now. And as above, so below, as within, so without. If you're going through these things internally, you're going to be facing them externally. So just because it's going on, a lot of times you can create your own reality so that you're not faced with it 24/7. And even the cars and the noise outside, it's so much fear energy. Like the noise is loud, the fear is loud, the interruptions are loud, and everything is basically poking and prodding at you to overcome and shed anything that is not aligned with you so that you can stand fully in your alignment. So the key here is, can you play the game that the universe is bringing to your doorstep? Can you work with it? Can you work with mischief? Can you work around deceit? Can you be clever in the face of these nuances that for some of you, this is stuff you're clearing ancestrally. And for others, these are games that are being played, in avoidance and whatever else is going on. That's a tomfoolery is what I call it. But macrocosm to microcosm, we're dealing with sociopathic behavior, period, point blank. And my collective specifically, you know, I talk to a lot of survivors of abuse. So a lot of you guys are used to this type of behavior from your abusers, or you've handled it in some points in your life. So we're seeing it on such a mass scale right now, because of the timelines that are uprooting, that it's abrasive. It's a lot. And Aries energy coming through as heavily as it is in March is going to make it's going to poke and prod at your desire to fight back. This could push you out of alignment, or this could distract the hell out of you. So know that. But really the way in which it's going to challenge you is with your boundaries. How much are you, you know, able to uphold your boundaries, stand on your beliefs, speak out, even when it gets challenging? Because the thing about this Scorpion card, I'll read it here in the New Beginnings. You're invited to instigate change. You're instigating. You're gonna irritate some people. But you are also being warned that this transformation may be radical. Get rid of everything in your current life that can prevent you from improving. Based on this principle, destroy before rebuilding. You are promised a beneficial rebirth. So the energy here really has to do with things that have been clinging on for dear life in your energy field, or things that you have been clinging to out of fear of letting go, fear of the consequences. You know, and for some of you, this is about speaking out. This is about your voice, and this is about your truth and self-expression. Things that don't align with you, but things that you're afraid to step into. Got a lot of distractions right now. So let's pull some cards and see what's going on, because really the message today has been about ancestors. It's been about ancestors who won't let go, ancestors, the ancestral healing that you need to do the work around, who don't agree with the change, aren't on board, or just don't get the message. I've been dealing as a healer with a lot of these ancestors who are not happy with the change. And I think it's funny because a lot of times the clients are working towards it, but just haven't done the ancestral healing. Sun, three of wands. So the energy coming through heavily is literally like the interruptions coming through this reading are so funny because it's all in the ether. It's all in the ether. It's I'm like, should I start this over? No, they don't want me to start over. They want me to show you guys just how challenging this energy is to break through, even from someone who is a practitioner, someone who works on this stuff regularly, someone who goes very deep on a soul and ancestral level with, you know, my own healing and my clients. It's insane just how much aggression and pushback you will receive from some of these spirits. And I'm talking slave owners. I'm talking those who were part of colonialism. Like, those are the spirits you're dealing with right now. And those are the aspects of people who are fighting you in real life. I mean, we're talking racism, we're talking classism, we're talking colonialism, we're talking about the mentalities that are so obviously harmful to the world and the way we operate, that, you know, it is a matter of ethnic cleansing in order to appease them. That is all they want. Ethnic cleansing and money. So that's literally what we're talking about. We're talking about cruel, evil spirits. And I've been working with these spirits in and out, like not with them, but working to figure out how to heal from them, you know, clear them from bloodlines, clear them from energy fields, work with them. Like, how do we work with eradicating these energies? It's funny, as soon as I call it like it is, it kind of clears the air though. And there's a lot of anger that comes up when it comes to these energies because of shame and not wanting to face it. And I think that's the first step, is basically lead by example when it comes to this, and just say, hey, it is what it is. There's a lot of us that have this in our bloodline to some extent. And we need to face it, and we need to heal from it. And we need to, face it by talking to the ancestors themselves. So back to March. This is what I mean when I talk about boundaries. Now, you're going to see this more so in older generations than anything. So a lot of you guys who are clearing karmic family ties and stuff like that, that's where the boundaries are going to be hard to keep. I'm getting a lot about like mercilessly well-meaning people as well. So we're talking religious stuff as well. We're talking that let me pray for you, let me save you, this, that, and the other. When it's like, no, we need actual like change here. Right? Well wishes aren't going to get us to the next step. Well wishes aren't going to save climate change. Well wishes aren't going to save us from an authoritarian government. So let's get with the program. And I think that's the reality check. As soon as you finally like speak out and tell it like it is, that's when the energy changes for me. It's so funny, even as I'm doing this right now. Like, as soon as I tell it like it is, that's when the energy changes. But here's the hard thing, is saying that stuff without sounding abrasive. Especially those of you guys going through spiritual warfare, where you're literally feeling this in your energy field fighting you. It's 9 out of 10 your own ancestors' anger. Whether you were abused by this energy or whether you have this energy in your energy field because it's in your bloodline. You're going to feel like you're fighting these entities, these energies, these spirits. And that's what spiritual warfare is. So when you check it, you are talking about a spirit. You're a human, you're in physical form. You can push back, you can tell it to leave, you can call it out. But when you hide from it and the hawks, do you see how everything going on outside is lining up with what I'm saying? When you call it like it is, when you call it out, when you tell it to leave, or when you tell it, when you speak out about it, that's when it's going to leave. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there in that way in this month. And that's the whole thing, is kind of like the universe wants to pull the masks off in the sense of like, you're not going to scare anyone. You're not going to scare anyone off. This stuff is really important and we do need you to speak on it. You don't need to worry about being too much. I think that's the other big thing here. So this energy is going to pull you out of your comfort zone. It's going to have you standing on your beliefs, and it's going to have you standing on your boundaries. And I think that's the biggest thing here is like, can you do that? Can you really, stand up for that? And I think some of you guys are more gentle spirits, more gentle souls. Argue though, because like me doing soul level work, and the more I delve into the shamanic side of the work that I do, right, and healing the negative and the positive sides of the spirit realm with my clients, the more I see the darkness in everybody's soul. We've all had a lifetime or a timeline where we've been dark in some way, shape, or form, where we've been cruel or harmful, or we have that in our bloodline in some way. So that's the thing, is like, you have that darkness within you. Pull it out and use it to your advantage right now. This is what Venus retrograde is calling us to do. Chills as I say that. Use that dark empath, dark feminine energy to your advantage, because you really need it when you're working with sociopathic energies, when you're working with compulsive liars, when you're working with people who refuse to face the mirror. You have to push back and you have to resist in more creative ways, and you can. So I think that's the thing, is like using this war energy from Aries to your advantage, rather than finding yourself scrappy-doo, fighting the air. Do you know what I'm saying? Like getting angry and like fighting. Use your words. Use your words creatively. Use your expression creatively. Right? Whether it's art or whether it's actually like speaking, public speaking or something like that, or whether it's standing up for something in the workspace or in some kind of advocacy. Stand on business by using your voice, using your self-expression. It's so funny. I don't know if anyone's, noticing, when you watch this, how much the energy has changed from, the beginning of this reading to the end. How much clearer the energy is now that I'm just telling it like it is. And that's the whole point. My whole thing is I don't want to add to the fear right now. And I think most of us who are, psychic to some extent, and I'd speak to a lot of you guys who are psychic, don't want to add to the fear. The healers don't want to add to the fear, but that's the whole thing, is we have to face it. You can't run from it at this point. It's rampant, right? So how are we going to work with it? How are we going to use it to our advantage to create change, right? You're going to have to accept that you're going to trigger some people first and foremost. And I think the triggering here, I think when you recognize the triggering here is waking people up who are in fear. It's kind of like pulling them by the arm and being like, you need to get up, right? You need to see something. You need to stop hiding. I'm not going to let you hide anymore, right? You're not going to be able to keep burying your head in the sand. And I think that's the thing, is like, you don't have to control it. You just, your voice is loud, your self-expression is loud. And that's the whole thing. Can you just simply express? Can you stand on your boundaries? Can you be clever? Can you accept this new beginning and allow all the destruction, right? And can you just go after it? Queen of Wands energy here. And let whatever happens, whether it be destruction, whether it be expansion, whatever it is, without fearing the consequences. That's what the universe wants, right? And again, you have to remember, Jupiter's in Sagittarius right now. So Jupiter is in Gemini right now. So there is this back and forth. Jupiter's ruled by Sagittarius. There's this back and forth energy of the curiosity that we need in order to expand. But with that kind of curiosity, sometimes gets us stuck in one side of the spectrum over the other. Right now, there's a lot of fear. So with expansion like this, with the Pluto shift, with everything that's happening, there's a lot of destruction that has to happen for true expansion to take hold, which means there's automatically going to be fear present, because we're talking about destruction, chaos. So, getting curious about that, not to mention all the Piscean energy with North Node in Pisces. Like, we're talking about the all that is, we're talking about spiritual lessons, we're talking about the hidden secrets of the universe, we're talking about the deeper things that are going on behind the scenes and underneath everything. When you add all of this into the equation, everything is so much more than it seems. And that is where you have to let go. And this month, the universe is going to push you in that way and say, it is time for you to create. It is time for you to make art. It is time for you to stand on your beliefs. And it is time for you to block everything out that is trying to stop you from doing that. And I am going to poke and prod you until I get you in that energy and in that space. I'm going to make it so uncomfortable until you just do it. So this is working all in your benefit more than you can see. And quite frankly, for many of you guys, this is a quantum leap underway. I mean, this is literally, some of you guys are probably already seeing signs of quantum leaps, signs of more abundance coming in, more love or more soul ties, or like meeting more people, or just having weird things like glitches in the matrix and Mandela effects and whatnot, or confirmation. And again, closing of old timelines, so lots of deja vu and stuff coming up as well. Time loops, experiences where you're like, I've been here before, why am I doing this again? Right? That's also happening specifically last March to the end of this month. Themes of March 2023, when Saturn first entered Pisces. Until now, because Neptune is about to exit Pisces. Neptune is ruled by Pisces. Neptune, the planet of illusions. So we have anything that has kept you in an illusion in your mind, fears that are simply an illusion of the mind, created solely by your subconscious. Saturn has probably driven you insane with since March of 2023. And that is coming to an epic punch in the gut this month, because Neptune is in its 29th critical degree of Pisces before it moves into Aries. And Pisces to Aries are very, intense contrasts. Pisces being ruled by the 12th house, the all that is. Aries being ruled by the first house, the house of self. So again, in both, Venus and Mercury in Aries, in retrograding from Aries back into Pisces this month as well, we have this back and forth energy between Aries and Pisces. And it is coming like clashing waves, like crescendos, like lots of back and forth. You can even see it, like I can tell 2020 on the clock as I say that, okay? I'm going to get into that in just a second, but literally you can just tell by the way that this entire message has gone. Everything's kind of all over the place, and I think that's the point. Use it to your advantage, work with it, make art. This is literally saying everything this month you're not going to be able to control. I can't even control the way I express this message. It's just too much happening in the astrology and too much happening in the channel that's coming through. The main message is just make art with it and stop being afraid of what you have to say or express. And third, know your limits, okay? That's what Neptune in Aries is going to push you with. And that's until 2039. Neptune's going to be in Aries until 2039. So know your limits, because this is where people are going to test the hell out of you when it comes to codependency, needs, prioritizing yourself versus them. And again, when it comes to you getting out of your comfort zone, when it comes to self-expression, that's where people are going to push you because it makes them uncomfortable to hear what you have to say. I have to say it this slow because it is that serious and that challenging for some of these people to hear what you have to say. And they are going to push you back. And those of you developing psychic gifts, you're going to at times probably have all of this energy come up in your system, in your channel, of other people's perspectives of you, trying to scare you out of saying what you want to say. Now, this takes me back to 2020. Let's talk about that really quick. Because in 2020, that was when the COVID lockdown happened. And everybody was afraid of their jobs, losing their jobs, losing money. How the hell are we going to maintain rent and all this, that, and the other? Right? We had stimulus checks come through during that time. They're talking about that again right now. I mean, for different reasons, obviously. We're having lots of jobs being lost because of what's going on as well. But what came out of it? A lot of people in their homes connecting over the internet and creating lots of art. That's what this is all ultimately pushing us towards. Rethinking how we, connect, how we strategize change, and how community is built. Sometimes it's not within your immediate vicinity. Sometimes it is on the internet. Sometimes it is in more creative ways. Some of you guys are starting to find that you don't connect with people around you anymore. You're finding more connection online, right? I think that, again, technology, we've been talking about this for a while, but technology is going to take a huge step here into like the importance of the future, right? And it already has. And so even now with community and how we build things and how we create change, technology is stepping in as one of the number one ways in which we're doing that. Now, even as I talk about this, I feel lots of coming through the astral plane, and this is why karmic families and communities, karmic situations due to traditions. When you start to see these traditions break down, you're going to realize, oh crap, where do I go? I don't know anyone else. I don't know where to go. You go to the internet, right? You find people on the internet. You find people like you on the internet. So we're seeing lots of traditions break down because we're used to carrying the same values down family to generation to generation to generation, and we spread them throughout churches and communities, right? And that is exactly why we have these pockets of viruses in the way that we think, the way that we cover things up, the way that we deny what we need to be doing when it comes to facing generational traumas. That's how generational traumas are hidden. That's how traumas in bloodlines have been hidden. That's how racism and religious traumas are covered up and hidden and kept in that bloodline, is because we do not break those chains by breaking out of those communities. We're seeing more and more people do that today. We're seeing more and more people do that today, and more people having to connect on the internet. And I think given the fact that, you know, whatever's going on in the, you know, government right now with all the changes that are happening, this is going to push some people out of, you know, their living situations into new places, moving to new places. And when that happens, ley lines are activated, energetic, you know, spontaneous awakenings happen, and so on and so forth. So we're about to see a huge shift and a huge wave of awakenings and changes happen once again, just like we did in 2020. And again, the universe is just asking you to let go and let it do its thing, right? But keep pushing forward. You're going to have lots of experiences that try and stop you. Lots of, you know, either energetic experiences or literal people saying things to you that want you to stop. Why? Because it makes them feel more comfortable when they're not faced with the things that they need to change. This isn't helping anyone, and their voice is one against billions. And quite frankly, billions who do want change. Millions and millions of people who do want change. So I think this is that point where we go, the math is not mathing here. The math is not mathing. And fighting ourselves against one neighbor, you know, is insane to think you would stop your dreams because of a pocket of small group of people, when it can help like so many more. So start thinking about that when it comes to what you're going through and what you're challenged by. Again, I'm not going to lie, the anxiety, the anger, the stress is definitely heavy here throughout the month. So your outlet is going to be creativity. It's going to be this Queen of Wands energy, creative force, you know, just throwing yourself into your practice again, as well as mothering yourself, like really giving, you know, that mother energy back to yourself as much as possible, and continuing to push forward. My dog, yeah, bringing me the rabbit, his gift, his toys always bring messages. We got lots of new beginnings with the rabbit, and again, cleverness when it comes to this energy. And like I said, some of this isn't directly, you know, people sending this energy. For some of you guys, this is literally ancestors. This is stuff that they're needing to heal that's being projected onto you, or this is just disagreements in spirit realm, and you know, again, all of this is trying to push people to change. Can you see that? For especially my healers, can you see that? And instead of fighting the world, work on your protections. Work on your grounding, work on your shielding, and try not to take anything personally. All right? This is a turning of a corner for many of you guys with this Two of Wands, and this is going to push you to that next destination, to that next quantum leap. So trust the process. I think the biggest thing here is just feeling like things are not where you want them to be. And again, they won't, but everything is co-creating something so much bigger. So use it to your advantage here. We're going to get into some spicier messages is what I'm getting, some like smaller messages and some little intricacies in the collective and some separate messages. But basically, you're going to be getting some messages about what these energies are is what I'm getting. You're going to find out some secrets that were hidden in the background, some things people have done, gossip, slander, things like that. I'm picking up on a lot of that kind of stuff, or just secrets that have been hidden in family lines and things like that as well. I'm just getting the sense that some of you guys might receive messages from people about these things during this month, but it just feels like the masks are falling off. the secrets are going to be exposed. Things are going to be revealed to you. What you do from there is up to you, right? How much are you going to fight this, or how much are you going to accept it and move forward in the best direction for you? Remember, this is all about your boundaries and how you manifest with it, okay? So work with what the universe is bringing to you, even if it is a bit tragic or challenging, and use it to your advantage to get more into alignment with your dreams, with your North Node, and with your aligned path. That was a lot, guys. I was not expecting the energy to be that crazy. But again, I think it's a beautiful example as to how, things are going to unfold this month. You're gonna have to be ready for some things to be a bit crazy. And again, most of this stuff coming through the channel, the third eye, or through the astral plane for those of you who are transcending time and space, or traveling timelines and clearing past timelines and stuff like that, astral projectors and whatnot. So just know that, and take, your practical precautions and grounding and shielding practices very seriously this month. And feel free to reach out to me if you would like a one-on-one service with me. My website link and email are all in the link tree in my bio. You can always reach out with any questions. Take care. Until next time.